it's the same thing with a therapist. They're trying to connect with you. They're trying to build a therapeutic relationship with you, and it's hard for them to do it because there's a barrier there. There's a mask there. You are, so I don't have to be. Hey, welcome back. I'm here with just a quick little chat about a topic that I've seen kind of floating around the internets here about how therapy is not working. So I'm just gonna jump into some of the things or some of the reasons why I think therapy is not working for people. I did look up a research article, and this is from the American Psychiatric Association, because I feel like things always just get locked in the echo chamber, and then once one YouTuber or thought leader starts talking about something and how it's not working, something's not working, I feel like there should be facts or statistics around it or behind it. So I'm just going to read something that I found. So according to the Psychiatric Association, about 75% of people who enter psychotherapy show some benefit from it. Psychotherapy has been shown to improve emotional and psychological well-being and is linked with positive changes in the brain and body. So according to research right now, and this is a recent study, according to research, therapy is working. Therapy is working for people. So if you hear information out there about, oh, therapy is just not it anymore, whatever, is not helping, please don't believe that. Sometimes things that are seen on the internet is not reflective of what is happening in society. All right, so here are some of the reasons why I see how therapy is not going well for someone or is not working for someone. One, you probably didn't pick the correct expertise to meet your needs and your challenges. So if you are experiencing a certain set of symptoms, you have to base the expertise according to those symptoms. So say for instance, you're experiencing depression after pregnancy, that would be postpartum depression. So one of the ways that could be helpful for you to narrow down the expertise that you're looking for is by possibly consulting with a therapist first. So say for instance, on many virtual platforms like Hello Alma or Grow Therapy or BetterHelp, sometimes you get to do a consultation with that therapist to see if they specifically suit your needs. Number two, you could talk to a nurse practitioner or PCP, like during your regular routine health visit, and ask them or let them know what symptoms you're experiencing, and then they could give you advice on how to narrow down your search. Also, if you're using your health insurance, you may want to call the back of the number on the back of your insurance card to call the nurse line so that they could help you narrow down the expertise, as well. Insurance companies are great for doing that. They have specialists on the line 24/7 that can listen to the problems or concerns that you're having, and then they could help you narrow it down from there. So you want to get the expertise right. Also, don't feel afraid or shy, or don't feel some type of way about also filtering out your options by race or religious background as well for that particular therapist. Because say for instance, if you're a Christian or you're Muslim or what have you, and you feel like you can relate to someone from that background, then just choose it. If you feel like you are going to relate to someone from the LGBT community, choose that. There are LGBTQ identified clinicians out there. So if you feel like you're more comfortable talking to that type of therapist, then go ahead and choose it. Searching for the correct expertise and someone identifiable by also your background could be helpful, because in this business, in the healthcare field, it is a bit relational due to our cultural differences and backgrounds. Sometimes we feel more comfortable speaking to those who share similarities or share similar experiences. So don't feel shy about going through the filter options as you're searching for a therapist. In order to get to know more about a therapist, to feel even more comfortable, you can always check their website or their LinkedIn page, or if they're on Psychology Today, you can do that as well. So laying the groundwork, the foundation, is always key. always best to finding the correct therapist for you so that you can ensure a better start to therapy. I would say the next thing, number 2, is you are probably not a fit for like talk therapy, right? There may be some cognitive delays or deficits that's hindering you from being able to communicate back and forth with a therapist. So that could look like having a pervasive developmental disability, such as being like on the autism spectrum. Cognitive therapy, like psychotherapy, may not benefit you. Probably being with a behavioral analyst may benefit you better. If you are say for instance, if you are experiencing auditory or visual hallucinations, you may have been diagnosed with schizophrenia in the past or so forth. You could get an assessment, a preliminary assessment by a therapist, but most often they will probably refer you to a psychiatrist first for pharmacology needs, for medication needs, to see if that helps with controlling some of those hallucinations, because if you are experiencing that, you won't be able to do cognitive work with a therapist, because that's going to limit you. So if you're experiencing that probably wouldn't be your first start. Your first start may be with a psychiatrist first. I know some of you all may not like this, but it has to be said. Sometimes things can come from the side of the client. So if you come into therapy and you have a tendency to want to put up a false mask, or you have issues with lying about what you're going through, you're either lying, you're holding back, you're not willing to open up or engage. It kind of just looks like this. You're kind of just sitting there just looking at the therapist, or when the therapist asks you certain questions or asks you to go into detail, you don't go into much. We understand that sometimes people can be flat, numb, not willing to engage or what have you. And we're always going to try our best to help you to open up. But we could only do so much. We're not genies. So you do have to be willing to engage, and you do have to be honest. Every relationship starts with honesty. Say for instance, when you're getting involved into a romantic relationship, you can't go into the relationship lying, like right off the bat. You can't lie about who you are, what you want to do, where you want to see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years, your financial situation, your credit score, your health background. You can't go into a relationship lying about these things. These are like core foundational things, because when it all comes down to it and your partner starts to ask certain things, they need more information, they're trying to get to know you, and the more and more they're digging and wanting to be around you and bond with you, it's hard for you to bond and connect, because that you've been lying about who you are. So it's the same thing with a therapist. They're trying to connect with you, they're trying to build a therapeutic relationship with you, and it's hard for them to do it because there's a barrier there's a mask there, because you did not come into the situation being candid about who you are and about what you're going through. We cannot analyze and help you grow based upon a lie. That's crazy. You can't do anything with that. So you do have to be honest and forthcoming when you're coming into a therapeutic safe place. Okay, another one, you guys. I had to take a quick get thirsty when you start talking. So another one is, I like using this analogy, or when a client says to me, this isn't gonna get out, right? Like, this is confidential, right? I mean, like, who you think you are, Beyonce or Jay-Z? Like, what? Who is gonna tell your business? Like, you got some critical information like that? Because I use Beyonce and Jay-Z because everybody wants to know Beyonce and Jay-Z's information like they're, you know, mystique couple of rich, famous and all of that. People want to know about their kids. Child, nobody is worried about your business. A therapist didn't go through school for all this time and you know, work for all this time just to leak some information. Who are we talking to? Who are we telling your business to? Come into therapy and like you're guarded. You are so guarded. You're so worried and concerned about like your information getting out. You're skeptical, and hey, we understand being a little suspicious, you know, right? But you got to let that die down and fade off probably after about that first session, because you can't continuously come to therapy session after therapy session feeling guarded and suspicious. Typically doesn't work. It doesn't help in therapy. We have to know your business. Like, you have to share. That's the whole point of coming to therapy. You have to. It's not something that you could get around. You know, sometimes I think that when clients come into therapy, they think that the therapist is just supposed to sit there and talk to them about, I guess, random topics. It doesn't work like that. You come in, you tell us what the issue is. We provide our professional expertise. It's a back and forth flow, you know, type of conversation. So you give to me, I give to you. That's how it works. It's not just a therapist just sitting there talking to you. You have to share. Now, this is on the responsibility of, I would say, the therapist. If the therapist is not responsible enough to know that they are burnt out, they need to take like a leave from their practice, or, you know, something like that, or they're just going through a lot and they can't focus on your issue, that's a problem, because when that happens, you know, therapy, it can't get started, you know, very well. It's likely when a therapist is going through a lot themselves and they may need to step away, is they may tend to miss sessions like a lot. Every time you have a session come up, they're always canceling, or they are always rescheduling. They do not seem attentive in therapy at all. They can't give you a good mix of therapeutic assignments to help you grow. They just don't seem engaged. So those are some of the signs that your therapist possibly may be burnt out. Also, you probably may notice them talking about themselves like way too much. This is your therapy session. You should be talking about yourself, and I should be giving you professional advice or encouragement. I share bits and pieces of information about myself and things that I've, you know, went through, but that is only to the benefit of the client. If I feel like it's going to be helpful for the client and relatable for the client, then I'll share. But I shouldn't, you know, or any therapist shouldn't be sitting in a session with you and almost 75 or 80% of the conversation is about them. That's how you know you need to get out of there. Get out of there. Go find another therapist. That therapist, something going on with them. Get out. Okay. So that could be another reason why therapy isn't working for you. All right. So another reason why therapy couldn't be working for you is because you may, I see this with a lot of like mandated clients. Mandated meaning they were sent by a certain system or department, you know, probably juvenile detention center, like some sort of court system, drug system, rehab. They were referred, or from their work, they got into trouble at work. Now they're required to do anger management or something like that. So I see this behavior typically with mandated clients who are mandated to come to therapy, and the clients that I say they was just sent. They wasn't mandated to come. Somebody sent them. Somebody said, you getting on my nerves, so you need to go to therapy. Somebody husband sent them, somebody wife sent them, cousin, auntie, mama, daddy. Somebody said something to this person. The client's relationships are a mess. They all over the place. you know, they can't get it straight with people in their orbit, you know, in their social orbit, right? And they just had it. They like, well, I've heard that I need to go to therapy from several people, so I may just have to go. And I typically see this behavior amongst people who are sent and people who were mandated. Sometimes these type of clients, they come into therapy and they have a chip on their shoulder because sometimes they feel like nothing is wrong with them and they shouldn't be there and they don't want to be there. So sometimes when this happens, they're angry, they're irritable, upset, they may be flat, numb. Like, we get it. As therapists, we get it. But eventually that's you're gonna have to bring that down, you know, a bit. And the therapist will let you know. They will level set with you and boundary set with you, because sometimes these behaviors can come across as like combative. You know, like you come into the session talking to the therapist like this your homeboy or your homegirl off the street, and that does not work. This is a professional that you're talking to. I see it sometimes as like it's like you're beating up the therapist. You know, you can't come into the therapy session just going at it, you know, with the therapist, because you have something to prove. It's almost kind of like you're trying to prove to the therapist that something is not, you know, like wrong, you know, with you. If you're having a struggle, if you're having a challenge, you're just having that. And we understand, we know there's nothing to, you know, prove to us. We're just here to help. This is my last one. This is for clients who are in the therapeutic process, and they're overall potentially they're doing good. You know, they're at least open and engaged with the therapist, right? They're talking, sharing, and all of that. But then once it comes to doing like therapeutic assignments, and I know probably some of my clients looking at this like, ooh, is Ashley getting at me? Like, I didn't do that assignment she gave from last week. Yes, no, and yes. But anyway, do your therapeutic homework assignments, because therapy happens also outside of the session. Therapists probably gave you homework assignments, coping skills to use. Did they ask you to read a specific section in a book? Did they probably let you know, okay, maybe you may need to be engaging in exercise, getting some sunlight, fresh air? Like, they probably told you to participate in certain things that may be helpful to you, help you cognitively, help you look at things a little bit differently, give you probably a different perspective, to see if certain things, you know, help you in order for you to shift away from the thing that you are struggling with. So it's a purpose in us giving you therapeutic assignments, because we don't want you to stay stuck. We want you to grow. We don't want to see you in the same place. Although you know, you come to therapy and you feel good, it's a safe place. You get to, you know, probably trauma dump a little bit or kiki a little bit. That's all good and fine, but you have to do some work, you know, that goes along with that to help you grow. So thanks for sticking around. These were some of the things that I've seen in practice, you know, with clients, that could possibly keep a client, you know, kind of stagnant, and they're not going to get anything out of therapy if these things are going on. So like, share, subscribe. In the comment section, tell me what you think. If, say for instance, if you've been through therapy and you saw that it didn't work for you, let me know. I want to see some of the reasons as to why therapy didn't work for some people, and I would like to also see reasons as to why therapy did work for someone. If you want to explore more about journaling for like self-growth, if you're on a personal growth journey, I'll share those links at the end. And I thank you all so much for returning back. For my subscribers that have been here, thank you so much. Let's continue to help this channel grow. And then for some of my new subscribers, thank you so much if you choose to stick around. I love you guys. See y'all later. Bye.